From youth age, it's my passion of the game, and I want to play in that time when I was a kid, and I grew up. I do love to coach, and I think I like to promote the sport, and I always have a good vision to see how can we grow better players, how can we have top level players.
Unleash your serve's power. Join our academy and dominate the court. Spots filling up fast. Enroll now.
Welcome to the Silicon Valley Tennis Show. I will be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Silicon Valley Tennis Podcast. I am Coach Francisco Ruiz, and today we are going to discuss a crucial topic: challenge and opportunities facing minority tennis programs in the USA. Join us with me, it will be Silvia Dueñas, as Silvia has a diversity, equality, and inclusion specialized. We explore barriers and participation for minorities, communities, and strategies ways increase representations of the court. We also will discuss exciting opportunities for building a more brilliant and exclusive tennis scene in the nationwide. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Sylvia, good morning.
Good morning, Coach Francisco. How are you?
I'm doing very good. I'm excited to be with you talking about these opportunities for minority players, minority coaches, new players. What do you think we need to do better from the beginning? How can we recruit more younger coaches? For your expertise working in Northern California, what do you think we should try to do, and coaches like me, so we can help our younger generations to be a powerhouse?
Hmm. I think the recruitment process really starts when these young coaches are actually young players. And that's where we need to start. How do we even get more diverse young people into the sport? And people from all sorts of life, not just ethnicity or age, but also how do we get young kids who may be wheelchair bound or, have neurodivergency, so that then we can mentor them either into play or into, the professional side of tennis. And I think that's where it starts, because once you build that love and that commitment and that passion for tennis, there are some
Yes.
people, obviously all of it, none of us will always be, the number one player or win all the Grand Slams, but we can help grow, the next generation of tennis players. And that's through the coaching side or the umpiring side, there's so many things behind the scenes that happen that we can foster. But I think it starts really when they are really, really young players, and then instilling that passion for tennis.
So do you think we have to do schools or promote it in the church or promote it where we can promote these things?
You know, it's always interesting the way people find their way in tennis, because it can be an after-school program, it can be an HTL, it can be, somebody, saying, I love tennis, I'm going to do it for my church, I'm going to do it for my after-school program.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna help out at the high school. So it really depends. But I think if we're talking about a coordinated way, which would be under the USTA, or in partnership with the clubs or some of the facilities offering tennis, I think that's where we say what is within our community, because you have to know your community first. So in some communities, it may be a church. In some communities, it may be the boys and girls program. So it really starts by knowing who your audience is at the local level, and then creating a plan for that. Because I think there are so many different ways that people find, like I didn't come to tennis as a tennis player, but once I became part of the USTA family, I fell in love with the sport, and it's something that now I'm teaching. I'm not teaching, but I'm encouraging my children to play, and so they're doing it, and I think that's the way it starts.
Nice. Sylvia, you have how many years you were with the USTA?
I was with USTA on the staff side for about a little over 15 years, and now I'm a volunteer. I'm the chair of their diversity and inclusion committee.
Uh-huh.
I was a member last couple of years, and then this year I became chair.
So how can we get minorities to join into that group of size? Because
You
this
mean
is
as
another big thing that we need to have, more minorities join the USDA. For the chairman, you are the chairman today. How can we get people involved into this to help them, the younger generations, I believe that still we have scholarships, correct? That
Oh
we
yeah,
have,
yeah. So we have through the national office. So that's kind of just want to be clear. There are grants and scholarships that are offered through the national office, and then there are grants and scholarships that are offered through the local sections. And so we represent the Northern California section. And there's a lot of resources out there. So if you go onto the website, you can find resources for adaptive tennis, community, even for coaches, because we need more coaches to represent all the different communities that we serve. So we have partnerships with the certification organizations, so we can offer grants for that. There's also high school grants, after school. I mean, there's just a lot. There's also wheelchair. So the important part is to have a marketing, an outreach possibility. I'm lucky that as a chair of the D&I committee, I have access to the staff. So we can say, like, why don't we do this? Or, for example, there's going to be an AAPI event next in May. And so how do we engage the community to expose tennis to people who've never played it before? And then when you do that, then you can talk to the parents, and you can talk to, the aunts and uncles or the grandmas, and say, volunteer with us, because, it takes a village, so to speak, to get everyone involved. And so it's also word of mouth until they become part of the USTA family, because once they start doing the tournaments and all those things, then there's like that ladder that we talked about, the pathway to get them from where they start to where they want to go.
well, one of the questions, and it's something many times people ask me, who is really is allowed to ask for these kind of grants? What kind of background? They could be Indians, African Americans, Spanish? Can you help me more in that? Because people, they don't know these things.
Well, it really, I mean, I think they're open to anyone who's involved in tennis. Some of them obviously have the requirement that you have to be a coach, or you have to represent a program. Um,
Uh-huh.
for example, we also have college scholarships. So we still offer the 4 college scholarships every year, which is the Arthur Ashe, Althea Gibson, Pancho Gonzalez, and oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the fourth one. But
Uh-uh.
it's a total of $8,000 a year, and so they're ethnic specific.
Wait,
So
wait.
for
8,000 for a scholarship or for all four?
over it's per scholarship, but it's paid out over 4 years.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
So they are, and those the qualifications for those are you must be a high school student, you must be involved in tennis. Obviously, we read the essays very thoroughly. Great essay, great grades. The student has to have already been accepted to a higher education institution, because it is a college scholarship. They need to prove where
Nice.
they're going to go. And then if they get picked, you just have to maintain a 2.5 GPA, and you have to volunteer and give back to your community. Because again, going back to the volunteer component, we need people on court to help us at the events. As you remember, we had the Kids Day, and in the
Yes.
South Bay, we had the Cinco de Mayos, and we had all those events, and we just needed a lot of hands on deck to help facilitate that, and be advocates for tennis in their community.
You have one of the better tennis players came out from this kind of program, Natalie Mendoza. This is something very, very good. Natalie, I believe, got a lot of these kind of scholarships in the past. Uh, Sylvia, how can we get more of these colleges, Stanford people, to join us? What do we need to bring them in? How can I pull them through and say, Natalie, come over to help us? I know she jumped in the past. Who else do you remember? You have Spencer Talmadge there too. Um, Give me more names. Do you remember any more names? All these kids that they came to Mexico, and they
Like
were
Philip Graham. I ran into Philip Graham the other day
very
at an
good.
event at USTA, and because we did the Mexico trips, but we also did the ATAs.
Uh-huh.
And then we did the camp at San Jose State at Mel's College. So that was our way to help students with socioeconomic needs or from diverse backgrounds, who have talent but they don't have the means to go to the expensive summer tennis camps to become better players. And so that was at the time, that was the investment that the committee made, to say, how can we take these group of talented kids, but they don't have the resources to incur the cost, and help them. And to your point, a lot of them went on to do amazing things, or at least go to college, because some players, that was their goal. I want to get into a D1, D2, D3 college and get a college education. So that was one way that we supported that. And so back to Philip Graham, he's now a coach. And when I
Hmm.
ran into him, he said, thank you so much for supporting me.
I
You and
love
the
it.
committee, you were part of the committee at the time. And now I have this great career.
He's an amazing. He's doing very good. Phil's doing a wonderful job. I went to the Mission Hills the other day. My God, he is so good. He's able to communicate. He was now the president of USPTA. All
But
these things.
I wanna emphasize that we just didn't, you know, go to Mexico and play lots of tennis and then they became great. There was a very deliberate effort as to what we did. If you remember one of the summer camps, we even hired a kinesiologist
Yes.
to record them, to provide a detailed report on how they can improve their movements, how, to prevent injuries. These are things that, world-class players have access to that we invested in. You also hired a workout person to, properly warm them up and build their strength. And so we provided that, the kinesiology, the strength training, the mental health, and great coaching. And that was like a whole support team for, I think it was like a week. We did it for at least a week.
A weekend,
Yeah.
yes.
And I think that was just an amazing opportunity for these kids. And that's why we had like 30 applications, 50 applications, and we only had spots for like 15 kids. So
I think we need to do that again. Let me tell you, I think that could be an amazing camp. And the people, I remember all these kids, they went to this camp, and after the camp, I don't know what is with these kind of camps that we motivate the kids. They finish and they turn around to be even a better players.
yes, of course. Yeah.
This is something very, very good. We need to find a way. How do we continue with that? But when I'm asking you, right now, last week I had an issue. Had one of the moms came to my academy, and I know low income family, and I mentioned to her, yeah, and some people maybe the resources they are not there. I think we should try to find more Spanish or Latino coaches to help them. Right now, in my academy, we have 6 Spanish coaches, something never before, which is very good. We have people from Spain to working with me, from Colombia, from Argentina. We have so much diversity. I just went to the USDA convention and USDA convention, and we came with a group with all Latinos. But I want to have more opportunities for these young guys. They are in between 23, 24, 30. Okay, so it's a good generation, and that's why I like to see they listen in the show, so they are communicating to you why I want them to go to the U.S. Open this year. I think it will be very good. I like to see they're getting involved more with the community in San Jose. I like to get involved in Oakland. I think that will be an amazing opportunity for them to communicate to the USDA. You know, we need to, I like to do a couple more things. How can we create this environment or tournaments for people to compete and get opportunity and they don't have to pay? I believe there's money in there for these young kids, but sometimes I have some Vietnamese kids, I have some Chinese kids that I know they don't have the wealth of. Did they allow to qualify for this? Or they are
that's a
not?
good question, because so many things changed after the pandemic. And so a lot of the work couldn't happen. I mean, just because of the pandemic, we were limited in play, and then we had the fires, and just remember just a lot of obstacles at that time. And we're slowly rebuilding everything. And I know as the chair of the D&I committee, we're building some of those structures, and they may not come back in the same way we used to have them. To your point, there was tournament assistant grants, and frankly, I'm not sure if those are provided through another department, through the junior department. So I would have to check on that and confirm whether that's still available or not. Because again, so many things changed in the last 4 years. But if it doesn't exist, maybe this is something to bring up, to the leadership of USTA and say, can we revive that? So, for example, I know the NJTL camps are still happening. So they combined them now with the boys and girls. I think it's just one camp. Previously, there was the girls camp and then the boys camp, and then it was our camp. So there were, some of the kids could go to, a series of camps. But Yeah, so we're in the process of that, and I think we need to be a little bit patient because we want to do it right. We want to make sure that the what we build services the needs of our community and of all the kids in Northern California, and also the coaches, because that's another important pillar that we are trying to address. So, we're trying to address community tennis, the coaching initiatives, and plus the players. How can we create not only resources but workshops or grants or trainings or certification, facilitate the certification? How can we do all that in a sustainable way that because it's not going to happen overnight. We can't provide something like this and then 6 months from now have tripled our numbers, right? So it's going to take a while.
Do you think you like to do in your community this summer a camp, or you don't have it in plan? That would be great. And it doesn't have to be maybe 4 days camp. Maybe we can do 2 days camp.
Yeah. Oh, anything is possible. I think as the committee goes, we're actually going to do some strategic plan. I mean, that's what I'm saying. We are rebuilding it. And so we are going to have a strategic planning session next month and start plugging in, what fits, and how, how do we address the pillars? What are our strategies and what are our goals and tasks for this? But I know that the committee is very committed in providing as many things as possible. So this being my first year, I'm hoping that we can get off the ground as quickly as possible and go back to offering a really robust list of things for everyone.
Do you have the U.S. Open scholarship for coaches?
No, not right now.
You don't.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Because that was a very big part before.
I know before. Yeah.
No, that's good because I like to see the coaches apply for that.
Yeah, we just recently had a round of scholarships, and it was for local programs. So once maybe the U.S. Open rolls around, maybe we'll have scholarships by then. But currently, I that's not on the list of offerings, at least not through the D&I committee.
Okay, when you say local scholarships, give me a little bit more information about this local scholarship.
Yeah, let me bring the list. So this is our list of scholarships that we have. So we had one for individual player grants, NJTL grants, and diverse coaches grants.
Okay.
So those are currently the 3 scholarships that we have, plus the college ones in the summer.
And how people can contact you guys about this? Only in the USTA website? They have different ways, okay?
I can send you the link and maybe you can put it in the show notes.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
People who listen to the podcast can quickly, have access to it.
Yes. And you don't have to give me other requirements. What age? They have to be 12, 14. They have to be high-ranking national. They have to be just starting to play. How a little bit of this, how they can apply.
Well, and the application, it's more about the person, not the personality, but the character of the player. So, and what their goals are. So, that's very important for the committee to see whether you're a beginner or more advanced. The goal of the committee is like, is this player's goals realistic? What have they been playing? Are they progressing? Is there, some sort of plan in place? And the same thing goes for the coaches programs. How many kids are they providing tennis to? What community are they in? So it's all it's more comprehensive than just the requirements. It's more about what kind of impact can the committee make.
Okay. Nice, nice. So, what is the plans that you have for the community this future? You brand new chairman. I know it's not that easy to deal. Do you have a situation where you have to deal with parents, or you don't dealing with parents?
Not yet, not
Oh
yet.
my God!
Well, we used to, right? We used to.
Yes, that's what I
So
mean.
So I've only been chair for 3 months. But so just if I can go quickly, we'll have a Cinco de Mayo festival in Stockton. And then we're going to have in June, we're going to have a NJTL DEI weekend camp. And
Good.
then in September, we'll have a NJTL one-day camp in Redwood City. And then we have some workshops coming up. Let me just read here down the list because some of these already happened. On May 18th, we're going to have the Women's Summit in Napa. And then on November 2nd, we're going to have the USTA NorCal Section Connection, which was kind of, yeah. So there's a lot of events going on. The information will be on the website, but just to facilitate it, I can give you links to these, and then maybe you can put them in the show notes.
Yes, I think it'd be great to have it on the show so people they can see the podcast. They're able to jump in. Coaches, we getting very popular in the podcast with a lots of coaches and parents from the Bay Area. That we get in the and that was my example. Sometimes, like I was saying last week, I had it. One mom came and asked me, and I asked him why you don't getting the free breakfast in the school. I'm not getting the free breakfast. And people sometimes they are shy for whatever reason. And I think this is one of the ideas that I'm trying to help to make sure go for it. It's opportunities right there for your kid, for your children, like a tennis player. You can get better service. Some parents they don't play every tournament. They cannot afford every week, every other week a tournament. This is
Mm-hmm.
something I'm trying to help them. I understand maybe they cannot pay for the full amount of lessons for the whole year. Maybe they can join, apply for some scholarship. They can get some money. And in my part, I'm helping the kids from that side, whatever I can help them. This is
And I think
something
that's what we
good.
need to do is partner also with more facilities and more clubs because, well, again, it goes back to what the plan is for the player. But if the player just wants, to improve, there's play that happens within the club or within the organization. Now, if they want to get ranked, then at that point, yeah, the tournament entry fees and they just start adding up. And if the higher you go, then the travel and the higher tournaments. So it can get very expensive. I remember when some of the players were going, to another state, and so the flying and the hotel but they were very important tournaments in terms of their, pathway.
But right now we have a girl in the academy, Latina girl, Latina,
Mm-hmm.
amazing player, and she she went to Vegas 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and she's coming back to Vegas I think next 2 weeks. And the father just said, Francisco, is getting a little bit too high. I say, listen to this show. Why? This is maybe an opportunity for you to get something. So I will encourage them to apply to go play a little bit higher level. They play national tournaments. The level play level 3 tournaments, which is very good. She's high ranking in Northern California, but I want her to join to these pathways. They have an opportunities to have more money that's there that maybe people
Yeah.
don't understand. USTA is a non-profit organization, and they have to get the money away. They cannot give the money. Many times people don't get it. Is who do you have in the community now? Who is with you at the table? I like to know if I know
Carl
someone there.
Mendoza, Carl Mendoza,
Very good. I just saw him. I just saw him.
Martha Ehrenfeld, Vince Owens, um, Victoria. Oh, I forgot her name. Michael. Oh, I know. I only know them by first name.
Just give me the first name. That's fine.
Michael, Victoria, Carl. Vince Owens, Larry Atkins. I think that's it. That's our committee for now.
Very good.
But I wanted to also just give you a little bit more detail about the individual player grant. I have it up here. So applicants can only apply one time a year, and they can get up to $300. So in order to qualify, the junior player must have a financial need, be between 10 and 18 years old, live in Northern California. So it's for our Northern California, residents. They must have a USTA membership, and they must not have any, conduct flags or suspension flags. And the funds have to be used for tournament entry fees or for training.
Okay. Only $300. That goes training and tournament.
And or it's up to the player to see how they want to use the money. Yeah.
How much money is in your community? Do you allow to say? I don't know. I don't know.
I'd rather not.
Okay.
Because again, because so many things have shifted, and so some of those things are still falling into place. So I don't want to give a number out there that may change, or it won't be the same. So
correct. How we have to do it? This is in Northern California and nationwide. What can we do all over in the nation? I know Texas has a very good program in minority. Now that I go there once in a while to San Antonio, and I've been talking to a couple coaches from San Antonio, they do have a lots of opportunities in San Antonio, Dallas, for minority kids. But Arizona, for example, Oregon, how can USTA could have been more involved in this? Do you have any idea?
Well, I think that requires.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that requires a lot of networking, and meeting people and providers at our national meetings, like the annual meeting or the semi-annual meeting. Also, from as a committee member, as a volunteer, is really collaborating with the staff who are in the meetings with other DEI coordinators across the U.S. And then really getting those best practices, sharing those best practices to say, program in Texas is really working. And then, again, the networking part, speaking to them, can you share with us, what can we learn from this? And then bringing it back and saying, how can we duplicate it, or, do a version of it? How can we impart some of this knowledge to our local coaches as best practices, so that, we have a similar, success.
Yes. Tell me one of the biggest stories that you have 15 years in USDA.
Oh my God.
Tell me stories. I want to hear stories.
Well,
besides meeting me.
I was going to say that I remember meeting you where I wasn't even hired yet, and I met you. And so that was a very, my first time meeting you. But for me, I think the greatest stories is that that the students that we have worked with have been very grateful and very thankful, and they don't forget. I remember Lorenzo Cabrera.
Oh my God, yes.
He also received the college scholarship, and every Christmas he would send me a little something. It could be a scarf, it could be a pen, it could be something, and always so thank you to you and the committee. I'm finishing up my degree. I think he went to UC Davis or and so I have run into students just going out and about in Northern California, and they recognize me and they ask about the coaches, and they say, I remember, when we went to the ATAs, or we went to the Mexico trip or the summer camp. And so for me, that had always left an imprint that we are making a difference, and, that we are trying to leverage our resources as best we can, because we can't fund everybody. But when we do offer something, we do it in a stellar way, and in a way that is impactful for them, and it makes a difference for them and for us. Because if they're doing well tennis wise in our section, then we benefit from that, and then they become our tennis advocates. I mean, that's why tennis is called a sports of a lifetime, because those college graduates are not having their children now, are moving to other states, and now they're continuing the cycle of tennis, and so tennis in their community. And I think that's the biggest, for me, is the lasting impression, is that we're making a long-term difference in the sport.
People didn't understand how difficult your job. I remember just to get the place for the kids to stay, to make sure we had enough applications and we had the right decisions. Find the coaches. I remember, I think the first year I had a Dell Evans volunteering the coaches for free, where I think I volunteer for free. People don't get this. How much volunteer it takes to create a camp like you were doing. And the food, what kind of food they were going to eat. You had a nutrition person. People don't get.
Oh my God.
Tell me.
It took months and months of training, and then we had tryouts. So then it was finding the courts, finding the times. Can you coordinate the schedules? And especially when we went to Mexico, I did all the flights for like 15, 20 people. It was getting passports. It was crazy. It was not. It was hilarious. I mean, it was hilarious in a way, but at the same time, just to see I got to go on 2 trips with you, and exposing these players to a new world.
Well,
I mean, it was invaluable, when I remember when we went to the market on the second trip, we went to the market for breakfast and to go a little bit of shopping, and they were just mesmerized, and, they wouldn't have had an opportunity like this otherwise. So, and then, for me, going to the clubs in Mexico City, I never would have had access to those clubs on my own. So like Club Francés, Club Alemán. There was a third one. I don't remember the name of it, but.
Oh, but it is. We went to different clubs. Today, to get into these clubs is very difficult after pandemic. It's not that easy. I belong to one of the clubs in Mexico, and even I cannot bring my friends. Before it was very easy. Not that easy because it was work. We have to apply in advance, make sure that we come in, but it was not that easy. But I remember these kids when they just for many of them, it was the first time thinking of flying. They never flew before.
Yeah.
They say, well, and today's day, you do have to have a passport. In that time, you can have your birth certificate. Not anymore. You have to have a passport, and you have to apply a little bit in advance to get into Mexico. It's not that easy. I love to do that trip again, but it will take more of commitment for everybody. It'll not be that easy.
Yeah, to do that. And the ATAs were also I think were also very important for our section. That partnership was very important. And I remember Barbara Lewis and Dale and other coaches that, were chaperoning and coaching at the same time, the group of kids. And that was, that trip was only, I think, 3 nights or 4 nights, but they got to compete and they got to, experience, the ATAs, which I think was pretty significant for our African-American community. So, I think what we did was pretty impactful. And so my hope is that down the road we can, that we already have NGTL camps, but how can we enhance that? Because, if you only have one event like that, it limits it to who can participate. So the more play opportunities that we can create, or training opportunities that we can create, the better. And then on the coaching side also, how can we to your point, widen the net. How can we have more women coaches, diverse coaches, young coaches, coaches that want to do also wheelchair tennis or adaptive? So, because we need everybody in the sport. I think, this sport, over 20 whatever million people play the sport. So there's room for improvement, so, and there's room for growth.
But right now I'm coaching a kid, Special Olympics, the younger kid. And the kid, I hope so he'll be decent. Very difficult for the parents to, when I told them it's a Special Olympic for your kid, the mom said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Yeah, your kid can be a Special Olympics." I said, "We will help them on the road." The kid is only 15 years old. He has 3 more years, and the kid's able to play, difficult to communicate. And I love to help these kind of young children sometimes. They can come to the club, maybe they can compete. That will be wonderful. That
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 would be
will be
wonderful.
yes, people don't understand. This is if you can hit the ball over the net and you can count and you're able to follow a little bit of the rules, you can play the game.
Yeah.
And and this is something I hope so that mom is listening to us because I told her I was gonna make sure your kid compete in the Special Olympics. I give her all the details. Even I told her she should sign in for a regular tournaments in Northern California, USTA, and let the kid play. Let him feel that. And sometimes maybe people don't willing to do it. But I
Yeah,
think it's
and that's
important.
what we were working on since, you and I first met, was changing the image of tennis, because, the image of tennis is very, um, you know, when you say tennis, there's an image that comes to mind, right? Who plays, who can afford it, those kind of things. But if we want to, make a tennis a sport, a tennis that people feel like they belong, that
Mhm.
anyone can play, that I'm welcome there, I can
Yes.
represent my community. It just enriches the sport, and it ensures its success. So there's a lot of competition out there for the young people or for players in general. So how can we make tennis the sport that people choose, right? So
Yes.
that's what we're striving for by making it more inclusive and more diverse, and also by the quality of the programming that we offer is, to say, you belong here, you belong in this sport, and uh, whether it's Special Olympics or the next, Wimbledon winner, there's a place for you here, or, just your local tennis.
I'm gonna tell you a story. I just got a guy. His name is Victor, and Victor asked me for a tennis lesson. And older guy, not that young. And I say I don't work with beginners. I say no, I really want to have a professional coach, and that happened the past 2 weeks ago. So the guy came, a little heavy, little belly guy, and I say, Victor, what exactly you want to do with your game? Oh, I want to make sure I play in the ATP, and I want to make sure I win some money because I want to purchase a house to my mom.
No.
And again, this is diversity person willing to fight to see if he can get into something to compete. So we start helping him now, practicing every day in the academy. We're gonna sign him in for some tournaments. But this is the kind of person I love to see him one day. Maybe you meet him in the community. It's a great story of the guy.
That is a great
He
story.
he followed involved with the game because he said, I need to do something else. And he
Hmm.
said, I think I watching these players making 1.5 million. I think I can do it. $1 million in the TV. I think I can do it. He watched TV. If you see him play, he looked like a player. Of course, he's missing so much experience today. But I think we will see him play 5 balls in Northern California.
Oh,
And
wow.
we will see him. Yeah, the guy,
How
he's
old
a
is he?
driven person. He's older. He's older. You
Okay.
know, so it's 28 years old. The guy's 28, but he's driven. Of course, he will never make it to the Pro Tour, but I don't want to take his emotions of say, "Oh no, you're not gonna make it." I think that would be a great person to have in the Northern California. Young kids from Manteca, from Stockton, they can see him and
Hmm.
see his story. I love this kid, this guy really have a communication with one more than one kid about how his dream is gonna happen if he make it to be good. Because when he told me his dream, I got inspired for him. I said, "Wow, I'm willing to help you, whatever it takes," you know.
And I mean, to your point, that's exactly what we need. We need people and coaches that are in the game that inspire other, the younger generation to come into the sport. I remember when we had Pancho Gonzalez,
Uh-huh.
his brother come to, was it Manteca, or it was in the Central Valley, and we had the after school tennis program come and play with him, and they were, I mean, in awe also, knowing that he was, the brother of the great Pancho Gonzalez,
Yes.
so part of tennis royalty in a way. So we need more representation, and yeah, so I hope he does. You have to let me know how he continues.
Ah, no, he will continue. He's driven.
No, but
He
let
is
me
driven. I
know if
like.
he's playing nearby. We can watch him play.
Oh, it will be great. How do you know about Barbara Lewis? She's still coaching?
I haven't heard.
Okay.
I haven't, again, I just came back to the committee about a year ago. So
Okay.
I'm still, figuring out who's where. And so it was nice to see a lot of familiar faces still on the committee. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So,
That's
yeah.
that's good. That's good. Sylvia, a couple more questions I have for you. What it will be, for example, if I bring this Victor, where we can take him? Which school that you have any way to get into schools? There's so many Latinos that we have anything like that, or how do you think we can help these Latinos? And I say Latinos, but I might be wrong. Diversity is different. Explain to me what it really diversity is, or it calls something else.
Well, I mean, diversity just means a variety of mix, right? So a diversity, you can have Latinos, you can have Asians, you can have a variety, but we need the entire package. We just don't need diversity. We need the inclusion part. How do we remove the
Inclusion.
barriers, right? How do we get them in? We need the equity part. How do we make things equal for everybody? So somebody, may need more resources than others for the same opportunities, right? And then the belonging part. How do we create programming where people feel comfortable to be at their best selves, where they say, this program is for me because it speaks to me, like the camps that we were talking about. So it requires the whole package and not just diversity. So that's why I say DEI or DIB. But so in terms of bringing him to a school, we would need to coordinate that within the office to say identify a school, identify maybe there's already an after school program, maybe a high school program, or maybe a youth organization that has tennis there as well. So there's a lot of opportunities, or maybe we, at a workshop, where there'll be hundreds of kids, and they can meet him or he can speak. So
Okay.
yeah,
Cinco de Mayo. Where are you doing that? In Stockton or in
the
Sacramento?
Cinco de Mayo is, yeah, in Stockton.
Stockton. Okay. Send me the invitation. I might bring this guy, Victor.
Okay.
That will be good. Cinco de Mayo will be wonderful. I can have him go with me alone, and that will be good to share these stories to young players. His dream about playing top level, and like I say, if you watch him play, you say, "Wow, did he? If he be 15, I would say he will make it. 28,
Wow.
the limitation is too short. He has 2 3 more years to mature body wise, in the tennis skills, which is very difficult, and mentally it's very hard. But in 15, you have 10 years together. I think that will be wonderful.
Hmm.
What are you going to be? Are you going to go to do more activities in the Bay Area in the diversity, or you have no plans? Who do we have in the Bay Area diversity? I like to do something in San Jose. San Jose is my hometown.
Yeah, San
It's my
Jose.
hood.
Well, we have
It's
to.
mi barrio, you know?
There's a lot of, I mean, it's always been a little bit that way where a lot of the tennis is happening in the East Bay. So we know we have the San Francisco, the tennis center at Golden Gate Park, right? So, but something in the South Bay would be fantastic because, again, just in terms of diversifying the regions, you provide people an opportunity. Where do they exist? And if they exist in San Jose, we should be focusing there too.
Yes. Los Paseos, I think Los Paseos, nobody's teaching there, I think. That's something
Mm.
we can check into it to do a program over there, you
Yeah,
know?
I can reach out to the local area coordinator there because they are
That would be good.
yeah, Keith, I think it's Keith Adams.
Yes, yes. I just saw Kid 2 weeks ago. I saw him. I should have talked to him more about this because they said the park where it used to be Dan Johnson,
Mm.
that park is still there, but no one is teaching programs there. No, they don't have, and that used to be a very good facilities for the community to bring San Jose area to do
Well,
that.
yeah, Don dedicated his life to that park, and he kept it alive, tennis alive. And
Yes.
unfortunately, with his passing, it left a void, like Mark Manning left, a huge void in Oakland.
Hmm.
So it just goes to show that the importance of bringing coaches that are willing to do community tennis. Because I think that's the other issue is a lot of these coaches go into the profession thinking, I'm going to have my own academy, I'm going to have my own club, or I'm going to be teaching, the tennis greats of the world. But then who's left in the community to kind of pick up the torch for, you know, local
Oh,
parks?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Coaches, I know coaches. They're willing to make the big money, and if you don't pay them, they don't even want to talk to you. They don't even want to talk to you. And there are many of the ones they are around my area that you say, "Wow, how that happened?" You know?
Well, people need to make a living, but I mean, how can we, you know, find a solution to that where it's community tennis, but people make a living. So I don't know if it's involving the Parks and Rec or yeah, I mean it's a puzzle. I mean we're still and I don't know if the pandemic had anything to do with it, but I think from what I remember, it was always an issue having coaches stay in the community and teach.
Yes, yeah, I have coaches. They apply for jobs with me, and they think the academy is just booming, 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 and it's very difficult. I think the
Yeah.
community they don't understand the community bring you more than the happiness, I think, and then bringing you enjoyment to work with the people around. I understand we need to make money. I get it, but this is not the whole entire thing of the game. It's more than that. You have to if you make a good player, that player come back later and say, "Hey, can I help you, coach? Or can I do this, for free?" I always had kids coming back. I have a couple surgeons right now. They contact me, say, "Hey, coach, can I come back to talk to a couple players?" And this is to me, this is my enjoyment that I have done for these younger players.
Hmm.
Spencer, this is one of them. Spencer talked to me, say, "Hey, I'm gonna be in the Bay Area next week with my children. Can I stop by?" This is wonderful. To me, this is what the community is. So we have a couple more minutes. Give me the last few things we need to do the community for the community, for the community, for the community. Couple more, and then
Um,
we will wrap it off.
well, I I think I mean, me personally, I'm very kind of process orientated. So I really think we need to develop a strategy. And so my hope is that in the next few months that we develop this strategy, that we start really branching out and bringing all those, connecting pieces. So either whether it's coaches or whether it's facilities, whether it's the resources that we need, really expanding in the what we're currently offering, and which is a lot. I mean, it's a lot, but I think that there's still a need out there, and particularly, like we were talking about getting the word out. So maybe the marketing piece also we need to focus on. So shows like this, or our social media outlets, and get people not only within the tennis circles but outside the tennis circle, and get them excited so they want to come in. And so it's a multifaceted approach, but I think if it's done right with the right partners and the right resources, I think we can accomplish it.
Good. Anytime that you need my help for anything, invite me. I will try to make sure I go there. Give me an ahead. Like I'm always flying back and forth, but I will be very glad to help in any part of the community, and the community. I think the community to me has been very nice. I have enough clients, and we do very well. So I don't mind if I have to go to
I would love
Stockton or
to work with you
Sacramento or
again, you and
whatever.
Edgar and the whole crew. So that would be fantastic.
Edgar. Edgar is amazing. He's still loving to coach. He's playing. He's not playing that many tournaments anymore like he used to be.
Mm.
He's coaching a lot. He has now two kids in college, so everything has changed. Everything has changed, So, but if I tell Edgar he has to come, he will come,
Oh no,
and
and
we'll invite him.
he's an amazing person, and both of you together, we made so many things happen. So I'm confident that we can do it again. I mean, so I guess that would be my final comment, is that tennis is alive and strong, but we can make it stronger. And diversity, equity, and inclusion is one way to definitely make it stronger and make it the more accessible we make it for everyone. So
That is what I wish. I wish to bring more accessible to people
yeah,
and to young kids. I think this is the future for many things. Today's day they have so much computer games. Put them away from the computer game, put them away from the telephones. These young kids need to have extra activity to play the sport. And I think the best sport is this one, the tennis sport. It's
I
wonderful
agree.
the way that we do it. And I think the community is very important. People like you, they always give 1000% in your job, because I know how hard that you really do things for when you were in the USDA. People don't see what is behind this, and I do understand how difficult it is to organize something and put it to run together. But Sylvia, I want to say thank you so much to join me today to share these stories with me, and I'm looking forward to see you again anytime. Like I say, I'm be very glad to be with you.
Well, thank you for the invitation. I enjoyed our conversation today, and I know we'll see each other soon, and we can collaborate.
And I know I'm going to say in the show, you have a lots of friends I want to see. Let's go have a lunch, a dinner. Just let me know, and I will drive my 45 minutes, 1 hour to be with you guys. At least to say hi and everything, you
I
know?
know we talk about it so often. Every time I talk to Craig or Carl or somebody, or even Cheryl, I was talking to Cheryl the other day, and she's like, "Oh, Francisco, I need to give him a call." I'm like, "Yeah, you should give him a call." Yeah, definitely.
That'd
She
be
wants.
great. Just organize, and I'll go with you guys.
I know. Well, yes, yeah. Let's do it. I'm just looking down at the list to see if anything will be in your area. I know that the AAPI, I don't know where it will be. off the top of my head. I didn't write it down. I think it's going to be in Fremont, but we'll see. I'll give you a shout.
Oh, Fremont is very close. I will be there right away. That would be perfect. I can at least stay by, give a hug to everybody, and making sure we can do something.
Yeah.
Okay, Silvia.
Details.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we talk again. I think the conversation is cutting off. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Silvia.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Did you dream of hitting aces and dominating the court? Silicon Valley Tennis Academy is your one-stop shop for becoming a tennis champion. We offer expert coaching, world-class facilities, and a supportive community to help you reach your full potential. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned player, we have programs designed to fit your skill level and goals. Learn from experienced coaches who are passionate about the game and dedicated to your success. Join our growing team of talented players and see how Silicon Valley Tennis Academy can take your game to the next level. Visit our website at www.siliconvalleytennis.com to learn more and enroll today. Don't miss your chance to be a part of something special.